welcome to the first Talking with the Band podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
It's an honor, frankly.
First one.
The first of many. And yeah, this is all kind of random things coming up and just making things happen. And yeah, I wanted it to be kind of a way to connect with the local bands in San Diego while also promoting not only their music and the things that they do, but also promoting the show coming up on Thursday, which you guys are getting to feature in.
Thank
And
you for that as well.
yes, which you guys are also the first of that. That's the opening night on the 8th. And so that's exciting. I built that show in Vegas. It's still running, and I was like, I'm going to bring it here, but run it better because there'll probably be more support here in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that's the case, but I never know until the day of, and then just how it goes every week. And actually, John Martinez is the one who told me about doing an interview. He was like, you should do something different and do some interviews. And I was like, that would be a good idea. And then I forgot about it. And then I ran into you, and you showed me the space, and I was like, oh, they do podcasts there? I have an idea.
Oh.
So thank you, and thanks to Nick, who is the, are you the owner of the space? Yeah, he's the owner of the space here. It's Friction Studios, Friction Syndicate, right? And yeah, it's a new studio space, and there's a lot of stuff to come, and excited. It's going to just be like raw conversations. I didn't write a script or anything. I wanted it to just be full-on conversations. I want to dive deep into the music scene here in San Diego and the industry as professionals as well, and getting everyone's perspectives on that. So that's kind of that. My name is Faye, and yeah, this is Talking with the Band.
Cool.
This is co-host Janelle.
Yeah, so thanks so much for being here, guys. We're so happy to have you here. At Friction Syndicate Studios, we are really all about authenticity and doing things before you're even ready. So even if that means, going into a stage and you're ready for it whenever you are, just doing it at that time. So we're happy that you guys are here. And first, talking with the band.
Let's do intros. Want to introduce yourself?
Intro, shall we? Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, thank you so much for having us. That we're firsts and we're first. And I love that sentiment of just like, even if you're not ready, just going for it, because I think we all need a bit more of that. But I'm Marcy. I'm a 2-year San Diego person that loves the music scene and found really cool people that want to just create more music and play at cool venues and have people experience joy. So I'm just really grateful to be part of this band. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again also. So I'm Karina, and likewise, I moved here not too long ago and just like came into OB, found the jam community, and it's just been running with it ever since, and kind of meeting literally both of these folks next to me right now, and Faye as well. So it's been super rad, and I play keys and trombone mainly and some other things. I teach, and this has just been a great ride so far. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have both of these ladies in the band. They were gracious enough to accept. So I'm John, and Johnny Sapphire, sort of. Johnny Sapphire is the project name, and I founded the project a couple years ago, and we have a couple albums out. And these guys are on the next songs that were just released this fall. They're on those songs, and KT here is the triple threat. I call her vocals, keys, and horns in a band with horns. And then Marcy's out front helping entertain and doing her thing on vocals. So very, very honored to have you guys here for the first one and to help support you bring in this very cool, different music experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that it's jam and that there's performances too. It's great.
Yeah, it's, inspired by a Seattle jam, Mo Jam, which Marcy and I actually met at in Seattle years ago.
I know, that's crazy. I love that story.
So it's like we've known each other. And it was really funny because when I came into the harp, I've always been by it lots of times, but I never went in. I always saw bands leaving. I never witnessed the music. And then I finally went in and I was like, hey, where's the jams? And Karina was like, right here. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I should start coming. And then I started coming and showing up, and it was a lot of fun. But it's interesting in my experience because I've jammed in Seattle, I've jammed in San Francisco, I've jammed in Florida, I've jammed in Vegas and here, and by far my favorite is in Seattle with the Mojam. And so when I was in Vegas, it was also the first time I had ever built something. So my background as a musician is I play piano, I sing. I'm trying to get better at drums. I'm good at it. I'm not great at it. I'm not John. But I don't think anyone is. He's a
Monster.
I've been taking lessons from him, and it's like, it's all math. Everything is math. It's very nerdy stuff, and it's cool. But at this point, I've just kind of like stayed for piano and singing because I love it. I love doing music with piano. But with the jams, there's something that I noticed outside of Seattle and their structure is all of the jams are fun, but they're chaotic, right? You'll be new to town and you play guitar, you play drums, and you're like, hey, I would love to go up. And they're like, yeah, we'll get you up. And then it's been 2 hours and you never go up because they forgot or they don't know you. And so they're either being picky or they genuinely forgot because there's just so many people, right?
Yeah.
Piano, I think we get lucky because there's like 5 of us.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
rotate.
We
Usually.
rotate. Christmas Eve, there's literally 2 of us.
Oh, wow.
It was great. And then CJ showed up. But, that's why I love the structure that Mojam has where it's a sign-up sheet for all of the instruments, and then they build the bands ahead of time. So it's like everyone signs up, and then they take those names and they randomize it, and then they call them up. And then they have a featured act. And most of the featured stuff is like they'll pick people from the jam
Right.
who come and they're like, yo, that guitarist was shredding. Let's feature him. And then they have that artist come in and they can either bring their band or they can just do another jam, but they're like the main focus. And they get the right of refusal, so they can be in as many jams as they want.
That's cool.
So I created a jam in Vegas because in Vegas, the one thing that was strange, they didn't have many weekly things. They had a weekly blues night, and it was okay. Great community, but I'm not a blues player. I don't like to play blues. I love to sing blues. But so I ended up having to create my own. There's another really good monthly one that happened every other month, or it was once a month. But it like alternated, and for me, I like weekly things because I can think. I don't have to think. I just go, oh, it's Wednesday, it's a jam. It's Tuesday, it's a jam. And so when it's once a month, I go, oh, what day? Like I think the Fam Jam is coming up tomorrow, and Nick, Richard, or something. I think that's what it is. Anyways, he's actually going to be helping with the Thursday.
Oh, cool.
With bringing some gear and stuff. So I don't know to the extent yet. We're still talking, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if you guys were already planning on bringing your instruments too. That could help.
We had a question about that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't sure.
Wondering.
Yeah.
We weren't sure. I think you said there's a house kit, but we didn't.
There's a house kit and they have breakables.
Okay.
So up
But-
to you guys if you want to bring more breakables because more cymbals are always fun.
So there's no bass amp.
Yeah, there's no amps. I'm bringing a keyboard amp and a keyboard unless you want to bring your keyboard because your
Make
keyboard's...
my life a lot easier.
Yeah, but I can bring my amp and keyboard if you don't want to bring...
That'd be really
So
nice.
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to use our bass amp because the bass player's coming from work late. So we'll need another bass amp.
Yeah, then that's what I'll
Yeah.
tell him to bring.
Okay.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
then we can use my guitar amp if you want to, although, I mean, I'm not the guitar player. I just happen to have a guitar amp. And I think the guitar player also, he's coming from School of Rock. So
Yeah.
that would be tough. I don't know if there's another guitar amp that might be helpful. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're
No,
two guitar
like,
players or not. Yeah.
yeah, I will make sure we have everything.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to know what you guys would be bringing or want to bring or not want to bring so I can get an idea of what I need to bring. 'Cause I
Yeah,
already-
I will bring my key set up, but it's not like something that other people can use.
Yeah.
It's like completely custom built.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. I think you've seen it. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
But yeah, no, I just have a Korg.
Yeah, yeah.
It's super fun. It's got a lot of settings. It's very easy.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Unlike your Nord, which I want.
Some people
know.
don't know how it works. So
I have to the fact that
thought you were
every
gonna look
time
at
I
me.
go on someone else's Nord and I have to ask, "Hey, how is your setup?"
yeah.
Because it's not user friendly.
Yeah.
The North?
Yeah,
No,
It's-
every time.
It's like
I'm like, I
computer
got-
for myself, you know.
Yeah, it's good. I'm like, help me. I don't know how this thing
yeah,
works.
perfect.
It's okay. Once you know how it works, it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, anyways, I created the jam in Vegas. It's actually still running. I gave it
it's
to a
amazing.
friend, and it's still running.
Great.
Not doing the best, but
Mm.
it's Vegas, and Vegas is really tough. It's very clicky.
Mm.
Like there's a bunch of like music collectives, and if you're not in that collective, they don't really support you as much as they'd like to. And so I was like, I guess I just got to build this thing myself. So I did, and it took a while, and then now it's up and running. It moved venues into a indoor venue because outdoor venue is tough in Vegas. It's really hot, and then it's really cold. There's no
Yeah.
in between. And then I moved here in April, and then I had the thought a while ago, funny enough, talking to Mo, being like, yeah, eventually I'll move to San Diego and I'll build it in San Diego. And then now here I am doing it. And she actually is wanting to like fully collab. And I was like, let me build it first. Because the last time like I tried doing it, she wanted to collab and then do a whole thing. And I was like, we're honestly struggling here. So I don't want it to live up to your name because it's not. And so I talked to her before doing this, and I was like, she was like, I noticed that our name is none. I was like, because I want to build it and make sure it's successful so it can live up to Mojam, and then I'll collaborate with you. So, yeah, that's kind of the story of that whole thing. But I want to hear more about you guys. I want to hear specifically like about the band, like the history, like where it started, and then also just deep dive into your history of like background of like your music.
We're not going to go that far back, but okay.
Well, we don't have to go. We can go as far back
In
as you
ancient
want.
times.
Ancient times, I strung my own
Egyptian
goat
god
gut
of-
intestines on a guitar. So the band. So first of all, I kind of work backwards. I met these guys at the jam. I started going to the jam. I had the concept. I've known John for quite a long time, since he was, I think I knew of him when he was in 5th grade. My eldest son is a couple years younger than he is. So, and he's also a musician. And so they knew each other basically back then. And they, they tracked, they knew each other. My older son's Finn, my younger son's Whitney. I'll reference them because, again, like a lot of the people I know now that I've gotten involved with younger know them. So it's like I've kind of been networking with their friends. They both live in Portland now. Anyway, so when I decided to, I like, hey, I want to try to start this other project, because I'm in a number of projects. I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to kind of support younger musicians who are just 20 to 30-year-old musicians who are like trying to get out there and create a project that's original music with some covers. We can make some good money. And part of it is improv. Like that's been a difficult thing to find in more traditional cover bands, but it's my background. I was a jazz player in high school, and I wanted to do more improv live. That's why I love the fact that you're like, hey, this format is more improv. I'm like, that's real life, and like that's an important part of the Johnny Sapphire vibe is improv. So I talked to John. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna come to the jam. He's like, you should come. I'm like, it's awkward, because I know it's like a bunch of young people. It's like fine, and he's just such a gracious person that it's so easy to kind of slip in there and then get to know people. And that's been a couple of years. I think the first one I went to was the first week in January in 23.
So who is Johnny Sapphire? Who is in Johnny Sapphire?
It is the three of us. Abe Garullo is the drummer. Jay Sanchioli is the bass player. We've got 2 horn players. That's Xavier Johnson, I think is his last name. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
He's a one-name guy.
And Avery Souza. You thought Xavier was the one? I should just say.
Share.
Yeah, he's probably really mad if he hears this that I said his name. And then Robert Martinez plays guitar. So it's a bigger band, and the concept is to have multiple formats. Like it can be a smaller band, and then that So basically, I met almost Avery, Xavier. Actually, I met Xavier at a party, Kevin Summers' house. That's where I first met him. And these guys, gals, I met there. Abe, Abe, and Jay, I play in a ska band with. So we play in a band called Third Project. We do we opened for the English Beat last month at the Belly Up. We play a lot of house parties and kind of local venues. That's full. That's first gen ska. I've been in that band since after COVID. They had been asking for me to play with them, keys and sing with them, and I just love first gen ska, like kind of more than second wave or the other stuff, and just the raw kind of combination of reggae and punk is such a creative thing that happened. Even though a lot of people don't like it, and I get it, it can get kind of annoying, just like repetitive and bouncy. But I do like it. So I met them in that band, and I've been playing music in San Diego for a long time, probably before you guys were born, and that back in the day it was like acoustic grunge, coffee house, rock and roll. When I moved here from LA, that's kind of what I was doing. It's all original music. And I was just talking to somebody, my sister-in-law. She's like, I remember when I was 15. We came to the coffee houses and used to watch you. I'm like, that's a long time ago.
How would you describe it now?
What
type of music do you play?
Johnny Sapphire? It's indie pop, is what I consider it. But it also has elements of post-punk and roots music. So there's elements of reggae in it. That's the other thing. It's almost a guilty pleasure band for me. I do write songs in a lot of different styles. Like the only thing is, it's not pure country. It's not pure like roots rock. I have different vehicles for that. And I just write a lot of. I've always written a lot of music. I've been writing music since I was 7, and I write maybe average 5 songs a month, and I'll keep one maybe. So it's like I'll end up with 12 good songs a year, something like that. And that's for a lifetime. So I've had a lot of music. Most cover bands don't want to do that, or they have their own concept. So I'm like, I'm gonna start my own band. So the story is, my parents died during COVID, like the awful thing that happened to a lot of people. It was a shock. Broke the wiring, and the only thing, I got COVID real bad. I was like almost had to go to the hospital, and I was like, wow, is this it? I'm like, oh my gosh, now I got to do the regrets checklist, like a lot of people did, right? And I'm like, I don't really regret anything. My life has been a blessing, except I kind of would like people to hear my music. And the minute I said it, I'm like, oh, darn it. Now I got to do something about it.
I got to do something about it. That's right.
Now I got to do something about it. And then I was like, well, I'll just tell the quick story about that. So it's like, okay, how am I going to do that? I haven't done it yet, because really, for whatever reason, it's just hasn't been that important to me. Like, I write the music for me, and it seems really selfish to like need to do that. So I'm like, well, now you've said it, so now it is. And I'm like,
I get to share it.
I'm like, how am I going to do that? Because I'm like, I'm not going to do it like the traditional way you do it. I'm like, okay, I got to make it not eventually. Like, this is like a year and a half of like mental thinking about how to make the project work for me energy wise, because I just wasn't interested in doing it initially. And I'm like, okay, I have to support a community with it. And none of us are wearing the band shirt, but I'm like super stoked with their band shirt, which basically just says support local art and music on it. And then it's like, okay, what about musicians? I'm like, my 20, like I'm a big Scott Galloway follower, so I do believe my generation, the older generations have pilfered America, and it's making it incredibly difficult for younger generations to be successful or just economically viable. It's just a big challenge. So I'm like, I'd like to do something. I'd like to act locally on that in this project. So let me figure out how I can support young musicians. Okay, I got to go where they are. That'll be weird. I'll do it. So it's basically coming over, like building these kind of the values of the group: improvisation, honoring the person, right, supporting a community of musicians, figuring out how to give back, basically, like give something to the younger, or help support that, or or create, and self-respect. Like those I formed the values first before the project ever started. The music was there. Like the music's been there. Got a list of 200 songs basically. So like that wasn't an issue. It was like, how do I do this project in a way that I'm going to be interested in it? So that was
authentic to you.
Yeah, so I started with the values of the project first, and then like everything's been pretty much easier since.
What
then.
are those values?
Those are the values that I just mentioned, like supporting a community, like honoring the individual. I am the decider, but I am not the creative force behind the band. Like ultimately, I do have a veto power, I guess I'd say, but I don't really use it that much. So. Like our recording session a year ago for the album that we'll release sometime in the spring, called City, was like one of the most enjoyable like band experiences. Like full 2 days sessions with a bunch of musicians sitting, because it was just like, yeah, go. Like, hey, should I do it? Yeah, sure, whatever you think you want to do.
You're like, do whatever you want. And I was like, really? There's nothing written.
And the recordings it sounds amazing.
It does. It was sick.
Yeah, like all the raw mixes sound great. So anyway, that's part of it. It's like not being just like, while it's a vehicle certainly a vehicle for my creativity, it's not, that doesn't limit it from other people contributing to it creatively. That's part of the thing to make it better, bigger and better than like just an individual person. Like you generally hear that's when bands fall apart. So I'm not interested in doing that.
Yeah. I love when you were talking about cover bands and how they tend to not like a lot of improv or other things. And I'm not a big fan of cover bands because I'm always like, let's just make music.
Right.
And I've had a couple conversations with musicians who were in cover bands, and then they were like, guys, we should just write our own music. And they're like, no.
Right. I do both,
you know?
right? So like, I'm just blessed. Like it's like this whole part of my journey now is just like feels like I'm just eating the icing at this point.
Yeah. Well,
but I am in cover bands. I play in a band, Jetpack Mojo, 15 years, like a rock cover band. We played 2 times a month. People dig that. It's precise. It's not. There's only improvisation in the 32 measures that we know are going to happen. Within the song. Right, it's very structured like that, and I am good with that. Like, I don't mind that. I just needed something else too.
Yeah. I enjoy covers, right? I play covers too. I do a lot of My Chemical Romance and Beatles. I had a whole phase with my ukulele where I would take a bunch of My Chem songs and put them on the ukulele and see how they sound. They honestly sound freaking cool.
Where's that? How come I haven't heard that yet?
Yeah, show and tell.
Is it a baritone uke, or do you have a...
Oh, I mean, baritone, I can play anything on a baritone uke. You can do the same chord structures, it's just a different key.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly love the baritone. It's one of my favorite ukuleles. I have a tenor ukulele. It's also it's teal. It has the F holes in it.
Okay.
It's so
beautiful.
nice. I got it at like a local store in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I always feel like my instruments
It's the Kala, I think. Is it Kala?
It's one of the
I
Kalas.
might be.
Yeah,
do a
it's
lot
like
of
a Kala
research.
F body arch top.
Yeah. It's a beautiful instrument. Yeah.
It's great. And yeah, that place is super cool. I forget the name of it. I don't know if you know it. There's just like one local store that like was like, you have Guitar Center and then you have that local store. But it was just like, yeah, I don't know. It's been years since I've been there. Anyways, I got it there. But like, I don't know. There's something where at least I'm at in my life now where it's like I'm in this creative aspect where it's like I just want to create. I don't want to learn other people's songs.
Right.
Not that you can't learn from those songs, because oftentimes we pull from those songs. You can play 4 chords and you're playing a dozen songs. But it's like, even at jams, for example, why it's like a strict no cover during the jam is I'm not there to play someone else's music. I'm there so we can create it on the fly. And I think all of us that go enjoy that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sometimes like it happens where we're like, oh, this is definitely this song. And then someone sings it and I'm like, that's cool. But what would be even cooler is if the vocalist heard the song, used the melody, but different words. that's what I like to do. It's like, oh, I know this tune, but I'm not gonna sing the tune because it's an improv. So, yeah.
See, I find that incredibly hard. I mean, I know you do it. I can't. I mean, I'm not a word. Even though I write words, I'm not a wordsmith. It's something that I have to labor at, and like, I've only done the singing. I don't know if you guys were there when I sang. I got up and sang at one of the jams, or I was playing keys and singing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I missed that.
because I'm like making up words on the fly. How do you even do that?
Words are hard.
Practice. My background in it is I grew up doing theater, so I have acting training and
Okay.
improv training. So but it all comes from just like being like not thinking, because the moment you start to think,
Right.
you start getting in your head and then not sure what to say. And not to say it's easy, because there's times where I'll be singing like, oh, I've said the same sentence like 3 times, but that's okay. It's a song.
Right.
I was always looking for like a string of words that kind of called to me, and then it went from there.
Yeah.
And just kind of letting it channel through you as
Yep.
best you can and falling back on the words that you like. But it's really like sharing a message, letting someone like
Yep.
take something from it. But I do feel cover songs, because we do have cover songs in our performances, and there's something like I felt the same way. Like I there's different spaces for it, but there is this connection with an audience that feels very held in that moment and very much like in joy and bliss on like when they're really connected to a cover. It's
yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, we're all here, like not thinking about anything else in our lives except for this moment. So I do see that quite a bit, and it's nice that we
I
have
love
for
the-
our performances
I
too.
love that you said that's. I mean, that's one of the things is creating a moment where people. That's part of the brand values is creating a moment where people can disassociate with
Totally.
the rest of their lives and just be in present.
Yeah.
So I love that.
And that's what I keep
that.
chasing for our shows is that sense. And I love our shows, especially because we do a mix, and like Johnny's calling out the songs in that moment because he's feeling the vibe of the room. He's like, okay, we kind of need to get people like right there with it. Let's throw in our like Gwen Stefani song right now. Like everyone's gonna go crazy. And then let me bring my music, and like people just keep dancing. So it's really to like actually be aware of the energy in the room and how do we keep people on this sort of higher vibration where they're like, I'm in joy. Like you don't have to bring them up and down, and we're just like, let's see where we move from here. So it's a jam in its own way because you're
I
playing
love
with the
that.
audience, you're holding the audience.
So how often do you build a set list? Or do you just
It's just
kind
for every show typically. Yeah, and that I mean, again, when you play in front of an audience as often as I have, it's like I'm used to like, okay, what's needed in this moment. So there is definitely this improv. We got the set list, but I will change it up. And that is also because we're a relatively new band, right? I mean, we've only been playing for a year, basically, not even a year. And so that's the other reason. It's like as time goes on, momentum builds, people will be coming to hear us, and it'll be easier for us to just do our thing. But at this point, it's like, how do you keep people in the space? And that's part of the thing. That's part of the improv, basically. But I do. That's the other thing I didn't mention. All guilty pleasures. I love. There's so much new music around. That's an instant classic. And then I go, hey, we should play this song. And then all the bands are like, what? No, I don't even know that song. And so it's basically we're playing. We're supposed to play songs that are basically no more than 15 years old. That's kind of, even there are a couple of old classics that we do, that a lot of people don't play, and then songs that other bands don't play. Right, there's not many bands playing Gwen Stefani or some of these other songs.
Yeah,
So.
that's cool. Thanks. Karina, I would love to hear kind of like your background and history with music and
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, whoa. This is also going back to ancient times. But definitely Jam's always been there for me. But I started out like learning guitar from my mom. She's a really skilled Spanish guitar player, but she's a dentist now. So she like dropped it when she went to school, but kept playing. And so my brother and I were like little kids. We always do like a Christmas time, like Spanish Christmas carols, basically. So I started learning then. I'm like 6 years old, learning these Spanish Christmas carols on guitar. And we loved it. Like I loved it. My brother loved it. We took lessons. I started taking piano lessons too, classical first and just got into it. Then somehow middle school, I got into trombone and just like, there's no other girls playing this. How cool. So that was like my drive. I was like, heck yeah, there's no other ladies here. I bet. So I started doing that and I stuck with it. I went into marching band, like mega nerd, college marching band. Jazz I was into. I studied trombone and just had a blast doing that. And all in the meantime, my brother and I were living together, like up in Gainesville. We went to UF over there. And he was starting his own band. And it was just like him singing, playing acoustic guitar. And then he met a friend and another friend. And suddenly they had a great band. And I was like going to all their shows and they'd practice at the house. And they were just like getting into cover songs and then getting into Grateful Dead. And I started listening because, hello, like we live in the same house.
Yeah.
And that definitely opened my mind about what jam music is and like psychedelic rock and all kinds of stuff. Going to music festivals, which really opened up my brain to music and energies and just like creativity. And I was like, this is awesome. I want to do this too. So when I finished school, I joined that band and it's called Tamayo Band, which is my last name and my brother's last name. And we just took it up from there. We did like a pretty good solid run, like 2017 to 2024.
Oh, wow.
I was really deep involved, playing at festivals all over Florida, recording music, releasing albums.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's,
I'm a big Tamayo Band fan.
thank you. I appreciate that a
Especially
lot.
her prog.
Yeah,
He
it's
throws the prog in there every once in a while, which I just
it's
love.
like prog
Prog is
rock.
progressive.
But you're
People
stuck,
that are
like
Eastern
she'll
Europe
throw
right
in the
now,
synthy,
like I
the synthy
was.
prog stuff. I'm like, what's going on right now?
I love synths, like deep love for synths and electronic music. I found myself deep into house and techno. And I wanted to bring that into a jam space with a live band. And that was kind of like the drive of our group. And it was like the coolest thing ever. And it still is. I love that type of music. So, you know, we got off with that. And then eventually I just had this sense that I needed to spread my wings, move to a new place. I've been in Florida my whole life. So I was just like, where could I go? And my best friend was living here in OB, so I came to visit. And I fell in love with it. I was like, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
Like, why have I not gone here yet? So I just packed up all my stuff and I moved here. I got a job and it's been just like riding ever since, which is super cool. And my old job was like super academic driven. And I was just like kind of bored.
What was
Just,
it?
you know, like, yeah, an 8 to 5 grind. I was like, ew, is this gross? But my only way to be free was going to the harp, going to these jams. And that was just like, wow, this community here is amazing. So talented, so welcoming. That's how I met John. And then I met Marcy as well at Winston's at another jam. And I was just like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, she was singing. This is my argument, is that I heard her sing first. She thinks that it's the other way around. But I saw her sing and I was like, who is she? And and just like we became really good friends after that, and just like going to all these jams and meeting so many people, and like here we are today in this amazing band
That's nice.
that
yeah.
had no clue like that was in the cards. And so many talented folks in that band, and everyone has their own project. We go, we jam together, we support one another's shows, and just here we are now. It's just been a
Yeah.
beautiful
That's the
natural
thing.
flow.
So it's a little non-traditional from a band standpoint. Like everybody tries to like create this cult of personality about a band. Like and again, I think that's one of the things that destroys bands. Like the walls that people put around a band, and then it's like, oh, people want to do their own project. I'm like, I expect people to be doing their own projects or having other projects. It'd be great if they had 2 or 3. I mean, I don't even know how many groups she plays in.
I lose count.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, I do
Alright.
it too. I do it too.
How many can you list in 1 minute?
Okay, so Johnny Sapphire Band, Cairo Mero Band, and then there's La Divina Femenina Band that I join every once in a while. There's the Agents of Apollo that I join every once in a while.
I think it's been a minute.
Okay, a Lobster Lounge,
But
Porcelain,
we'll keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
We'll keep going.
and the harp.
Yeah.
So
Clockwork
those are my
music.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Clockwork.
that is the case with everybody in the band, and I would say like my 20-year-old self would have been like, no, the band, the band has to be, and like, that is not the person I am now, nor is it nor is it the cage that I want to create,
Yeah.
right, for myself, mentally, which is like, no, the band is immutable, right?
Yeah.
That means it'll be forever. So that's cool. It's way
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, totally. It is way
Yeah.
better that way.
And I even I've told these guys, like, I'm trying. We just need to practice more, but I'm trying to get to a space where I cannot be in the band, where I can leave where I can leave the stage and listen to the band and enjoy the band, and like that will happen.
That's honestly, that's how I feel about even like any event that I ever create. So it's like with the jam, or even like when I was in Vegas, I threw a couple concerts, and I'm not in any projects, which is wild to me because have been playing in jams forever, and I still have yet to find like the right people who are like down to create. And it's like right now I have a few people who are like, we create all the time, and we're like slowly forming something. We just need more instruments. We need a bass player and a drummer. But we just met someone who came over and we had a jam, and it was like one vocalist, me on keys, and then a guitarist. And I was like, cool, we just need a bass player and a drummer and whatever else. But it's like I was talking to a few people about like any time that I put on a show, it's not for me. It's for all of the other musicians who might not have a space to perform or put on a show.
Cool.
And there's a side of ego that I think I see in a lot of jams and event producers where they'll produce an event and they'll put their band as the headlining act. And I'm like, that's cool, but like you could have given that to someone else who doesn't have the ability to just produce a show, because it's a lot of work and knowledge and luck sometimes. And so it's like, even for my jam, I was just talking to someone the other day about it, and I was like, yeah, my successful jam is when there's so many musicians that I don't get to go up on stage, because that means
cool.
it's working. It means that there's enough musicians showing up. It means that I get to just be a host, which will make me more than happy. Although I'm losing Wednesdays because I'm going to school for massage this Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
That's cool, though.
changing up
great.
my life a little bit, because
Yeah.
the event industry is literally my life. I build events for a living, and then I'm at events for fun.
Yeah.
But I'm losing Wednesday because I start school on Wednesday, and I'm there all day and night. So I might
That's
get to make
intense.
like the very end,
Aw.
but we'll see.
How long does it take to go through the?
It's a 15-month program for the holistic health practitioner.
Yeah.
9 months for the massage therapy program. So after 9 months, I'll be able to become licensed therapist, or technically a certified therapist. And then after that 15 months, then I'll be a holistic health practitioner, which studies a lot more like Eastern modalities. And there's also a nutrition class, and I'm definitely going to take it.
That's great.
And a bunch of other stuff that I have no idea what is, and I'll find out. But, you know, I'm making a shift in my life because I want to add more to the events that I go to, where it's like, okay, I can build this festival, and then I can also be a massage therapist at the festival. So you can build
Oh, that's
multiple
cool.
incomes,
Yeah.
you know, and then if I've ever in a band, then I can build it, be a massage therapist, and go perform.
You need
Yeah.
hands.
You know, because
Triple threat.
yeah. A little hint at what's to come, because I do want to have Marcy dive in, but it is like a nice little segue of talking about being professional in like the music industry, not only just in San Diego, like if you've toured or performed in other places, but definitely like overall music industry. But then also I really want to dive into like what it's like being professional in San Diego, and what the professional scene is like here with like the local bands.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah, I want to dive into that after we hear from Marcy.
Thank you. Oh, it's so cool to hear all the visions, you know, and you're doing it now. Like, we're here today doing
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, well, my background, it's funny, when we were doing the intros, I was like, oh, I literally didn't even say I was a vocalist. Like, I was like, okay, just here, music. I'm a vocalist, and to kind of do a rewind, my grandma, who I actually never met, was a Broadway star at 19 years old.
Wow.
And so I'm the only person in my family that sings. And so it's kind of felt like this sort of like, I want to keep performing because I do feel that connection with her that I never got to have physically in this world. And even like the night that we met, I remember that was like the strongest I'd felt a connection to my grandma. So like I feel that when opportunities open themselves up, I'm like, oh, I get to like hang out with my grandma. I'm like, cool.
That's so cool.
I love that.
Yeah, but
She's invited to our shows anytime.
yes, oh, she's there. She's front row. She's
Grandma
coming through the mic.
Gloria.
You know, no, but my background was musical theater at first because I was like, okay, I'm gonna be like my grandma. So I started at 5 or 6, but not good at choreography. Like, cannot learn that for life. Acting, I just am like really bullyish when I act. I don't know why. I'm like, but I don't know. It's weird. So
Typecasted
vocals
into
was the
bully.
next. Yeah, I was like, just put my energy into vocals. Which then turned into probably over a decade of choirs, collegiate level choirs, playing at the Seattle Symphony, playing at Carnegie Hall, with a choir of like 50, 60 people at University of Washington. And then I think it was I'm a big traveler, and it was just one of my trips that I was traveling through for like working on farms and gardens, that I would find myself like doing jams with people. And being like, oh, I have like my own voice where I don't have to like learn music, and I have my own flavor and my own sound. And I probably got a little in the ego, which I'm like, we're just like, I could be a star. Like, listen to me, you know? Yeah. And so I think that was, that was definitely the unfolding of, okay, where can I find jam spaces? And so the full circle of this is crazy because yes, Mojam in Seattle was how it all began. It's in a really cool artsy area of Seattle. And yeah, I love the setup of it is kind of like you have to, you know, keep showing up for them to recognize you and be like, let's write your name down with this band. We think you'd be good with them. So you're getting to play around with a lot of different bands because you have this board that you know, they put your name on it, and that's the band of 6 or 7 people that you're up with. And so that style was always a courageous challenge, so rewarding when it was like home run, sort of like I'm channeled and we're all connected, and so humbling when it's my God, we're not here. And we're on it's like a real deal venue, stage, 2 stories, people looking at you from all angles. So it's like, woo, exactly. That's how it felt when it fell apart. And so I did that for 2 years, and I think you already moved away at that point, but 2 weeks before I moved to San Diego, I had my 30-minute feature, which was all my music. I even did this like experiential thing where my sister took a video of my very first jam I got on stage. And so I played that on the projector, and then I made a jam off of it with the band that I made. That. So it was like so fun to create that performance. And yeah, coming here has just been communication. I wish I could read it. I was like, I got lost. Sorry,
45-minute mark.
You know? Oh, nice, cool. But yeah, coming here, still looking for jam. It's a very different vibe, but I think the adaptability needed for the jam world is just kind of one of, I'm open to all possibilities. I'm open to, you know, having to like work my way up. It could be frustrating sometimes, but there is this mentality that I keep where it's just keep showing up. Like I can be in my narrative and in my head, but as long as I keep showing up, it's the relationships are going to build. My craft is going to improve. And so, yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah, it's the truth. Like, let the stories blah, 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 and then just keep showing up again. And so I have to remind myself that over and over.
Can you remind me of that too?
It's a new season of it too. So yeah, we'll keep each other accountable. But yeah, that's my story, and I'm just grateful that Mojam is coming back and like to be part of the watching it rise and
that's why we're
be
here.
Part of the supporting of it. Yeah, that's just so cool. So full circle, really cool moment to be part of it.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. Like, just the conversation I had with Karina. I forget like how it happened, but like we were talking about. I think I brought up Seattle and Mojam, and then you were like, "Oh, I know someone from Seattle," and then you were like, "Oh yeah," and they told me about Mojam and blah blah blah, and then eventually like, it was so funny because I have your number still, and so it's like I was like, I can't think of the name. And then she said your Instagram. I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. And then I looked and I was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. And I pull up our like text, and I'm like, we literally have a text thread from
so wild.
that. And then we finally ran into each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, the way that they run it is why I'm actually where I'm at musically, because, you know, being someone who's only trained in vocals, but also musical theater and choir, very
What do
different
you
than
mean you're only
jam.
trained in vocals?
It's the only thing I've taken classes
So
for.
your piano is all self-taught.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Whoa.
I grew up with a baby grand piano, and the first house that it was like, my first instrument was also a guitar. My grandpa's a music teacher. He teaches guitar and upright bass,
Awesome.
classical. And it's funny because I never learned from him other than the first time I ever, like, he gave me a lesson, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then I like figured out the rest.
From the minute I put my hands on the keyboard, even though I had my lessons, I was writing. It was creative. It was
Yeah.
a creative.
Yeah. And, you know, so it's like, I'm all self-taught.
That's amazing.
I've literally never had a piano lesson in my life. I'm really hoping to change that with you. We've
We're gonna
talked
make it
about it a
happen.
lot,
Yes.
especially in the new year, you know.
Yes.
But it was really funny because I, you know, grew up playing piano, just like teaching myself. Didn't have any sense of rhythm or music theory, and I'm still teaching myself more music theory every day. But I remember this moment when I was in college. They had a piano just like in one of the like lounges, and I'm in there, and I come up with this like cool little thing, and I'm sitting next to a friend who is in school for music as a piano player, and he's like, your song makes no sense because he's like, it makes no sense because it doesn't fall in line with music theory. And I was like, well, I don't know music theory. And he was like, but it's actually beautiful. And he was telling me this thing, which I now see as well, where it's like, if you take someone who knows music theory and is strict about it, they're going to have great songs. But if you take someone who's all self-taught, knows nothing about music theory, and then their music, it's also going to be just as good, if not better, because they're thinking outside of the box because they don't know what the box is, right? And so it's really fun having this backwards thing for me where I didn't start taking music seriously until Mojam, because I'm up there, and I don't know if you remember Raul, but it's like I'm up there playing the keys, and like I still struggle sometimes, even at this jam too, with keys if we're doing like really fast. I very much love like slow, chill, psych rock. I love funk, but I have a hard time playing funk, even singing. But I just remember like the amount of encouragement that was on that stage. You know, I would be playing piano with a bunch of like professionals, and I'm like 21, and I'm just like, oh God, this is intimidating. But they're like, yeah, just keep coming back. And it forced me to get better, because I was like, oh, if I'm gonna play with these guys, I have to start learning music theory. I have to start understanding what they mean by a 1-4-5. I had no idea what that is. And like learning keys, and then you know, now even more so, where I'm just like, okay, cool, now I don't have to like necessarily know what key we're in. I can just like play around and go, oh, here's the scale. And that was like a fun realization. But I would say those jams is what really like pulled me into being like, no, I have a passion for music. And so even now, like a lot of like my inspiration growing up was not learning covers. It was like listening to like Ludovici Iannata, which is more like a contemporary piece. And then when I was in San Francisco, I got into Bach because my two of my roommates were in the college there for classical piano, and they bought a grand piano. It was this beautiful thing, and you know, I would just wake up.
Grand piano at where you lived in college.
No, I was only in college for a year and I quit.
Oh, okay.
And then I built a life off of what I went to school for and quit, which is theater.
But you had these people you were living with, they had the grand piano.
Yeah, we actually went to. It was a whole thing because the house I was in was an artist collective in
cool.
San Francisco called the Convent. It's now shut down, which is sad. But it was a convent, and we had a chapel, and in that chapel we had an organ and we had a piano, and that thing was super out of tune. But we were like, it's the only piano we have. And then eventually they were like, I think I want to get a grand piano. Do you guys want to go shopping? So we literally went to we like called up. We were like, let's just get a free one. And then we found this free one in a piano store because they were like, hey, we need to get rid of all of these pianos that are in our basement so we can make room for more. You just have to move it, which costs about like $500, if not a little bit more, which is great because some of those pianos are worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And it went from playing the free one to then testing it with like a $500 one, and then $1,000, and then $15, and then $2, then $3, then $4, and then we bought the $4,000 piano because we were just like, we just kept going up and up and up, and it's hard to go back down.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't go any higher because we had a limit, but we bought the $4,000 one. That thing was beautiful, and it was just super fun getting to dive in to like more classical because I've never really listened to classical, and I was kind of like, it's not for me. And then they're like, no, but because I like a lot of like the dark, moodier stuff. And then he was like, no, but there is that in classical. So
Right.
he like showed me Bach because that was like his thing. He loved playing Bach, and he finally taught me about inversions, which if you don't know, it's the same chord like it's a C, but you're changing the
Root note,
the root note of it, and it just like adds more volume to it. And as soon as I learned about that, I was like, oh, this makes playing music so much easier than like jumping all the way around when you can just sit there.
Yeah.
And then playing with scales. And so like he started like, I guess technically that was my first real piano lesson was from him, which most of it occurred at like 3 a.m. when we're just like at night just playing forever, and I didn't retain any of the knowledge, and I had to be like, can we do this during the day after we've slept? He's like, yeah. And then we finally got to it. But yeah, that's I guess like a little bit of my background for music. But I want to dive into what it's like to be a professional musician in San Diego and the industry overall, because there's a lot that I think we can cover. I don't know if we'll have enough time to go super into it because there's
I mean, my general take on it is I think San Diego gets a bad rap in terms of a place to play music because there's LA has always been there, right? And I think it's changed quite a bit actually, and I'm so happy it has. But it used to be the fact that anybody who was going to be a musician left. Maybe when I moved here from LA because I didn't want to live in LA. It was like all the good musicians I got to know left because I could make money, good money as a studio musician in LA. That's changed. That's good. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
It was in the 90s. Yeah. It's changed. So, sometime I'd say mid 2000s. And part of it was Blink obviously helped San Diego a lot.
Oh yeah.
And STP helped. So like the bands that came up in the mid 90s to late 90s, it's like, no, you can make it here. And that kind of changed it. Because in the 80s, all of the bands in the 80s that made it from San Diego were from LA, even though they were from San Diego. They moved to LA, right? So
Yeah.
And then there's enough examples of that of artists from San Diego from this point on. Obviously, I think more recent was Stick Figure, right? So the guys, right, that are
Slightly stupid.
but there's definitely the thing I would say about San Diego is it is fundamentally a tourist destination,
for sure.
and that does have an influence on the music options that are available to play in San Diego. There isn't really like this kind of gap that you have in some other larger West Coast cities, we'll call it, right? Where you're like, okay, there's a space for people to go listen to jams. Like the people at the jams are musicians for the most part.
Yeah.
Where you have in other communities, for example, Portland, I imagine Seattle, right? People will go to listen to the jam, right? Like there are non-musicians who like, no, this is my entertainment, right? And that doesn't happen as much here. I mean, San Diego is also hard. I mean, it's a beautiful place. We can't keep sports teams for all the good reasons, right? Like it's a little bit of a different city for all the best reasons. But that does define professional music, being a professional musician a bit, in my opinion. Defines what the options are to be a professional musician in San Diego. The cool thing is there are just like the jam just shows that there's such phenomenal musicians that are making it happen here. it's crazy.
That's true. That's so true.
What is your experience?
Yeah, like I'm still learning a lot about how it is to be a professional musician in San Diego because it is the first time that I like am going all in on music. I've always had some other thing, but now to be all in, you gotta see a whole other perspective, and the hustle is real, the grind is real. Everyone here works very hard. But at the same time, we're like pushing each other, and it's awesome. You know, you have that community of people. But like my professional side really started in Florida with, like I said, Tamayo Band. And it is still a business today. Like I run as the, what would you call it? Like financial officer, I guess. I have my master's in business. So I run all their books and make sure everything's Gucci for them while they're off playing music and everything. My brother's like the lead artsy man writing everything. But yeah, I kind of learned a lot from them financially. Like, how do you run this as a business? Because that's something that people don't really teach you, even in school. Like, sure, you learn all this stuff about spreadsheets, but it comes down to like you boots on the ground, like learning how it's like to work with so many people and having like emotional intelligence is something big time that you learn too. And just realizing what's everyone's strengths and communication styles. And once you learn that, you can bring it into any setting. So likewise now coming here and learning all the folks in the jams and learning with John and everyone in the band too, you kind of just like realize how important that is to work with people and just kind of share that knowledge with folks. Like don't hog it all for yourself, you know? You want to make the community better. We want musicians to stay here. We want everyone to be abundant and prosperous. Then you got to share that. So I'm definitely trying to do that now. And same with teaching. That's taught me so much. I've been a student all my life, and now it's kind of fun to be a teacher, even if it's for, you know, a young kid or something that I'm showing them piano for the first time. It kind of makes you even solidify some more knowledge and keep learning and growing. So that's kind of where I am at right now. I'm new to it, but it's been a great experience. There's really awesome people here who've been teaching for so long. Like we were talking about John Martinez earlier, and like my friend Cole Russo's too. Like all the guys in the band at the harp teach. So, and Jacob Fletcher. Yeah, we're all out there like teaching kids, but then jamming too.
Yeah.
So we're teaching each other as well. And that's helped me a lot, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's definitely a culture of showing up for each other too. Like, we just left Lulu's the other day, and our friends like waving their arms, like as we're walking in, and they're like, "Yeah, David Cultura killed it. I have to go to my gig now, though, at the Rabbit Hole." And it's just like, oh, it's like so cute that we all like are supporting each other as best we can, because that does give you that culture of like we're there for each other. We know the grind's real, the hustle is real. Like, if you're really making it, you're doing weekend shows every single weekend. Like, it's just like, you know. So, yeah, supportive community here.
It sounds like a jam then is really a good place for people to go if they're getting into music as well.
Totally.
100%.
A big community for support in it.
Yes. That's how I met everybody. Really. That's how I met these two.
It is a,
Because of that.
yeah, I mean, that's it's an intention that a person can set to say, like, okay, where can I go? Like, I can take lessons, or I can try to start a group. Where can I go to make myself better? And like a jam will always challenge you. I am just, I don't consider myself a great keyboard player, and there's a whole psychological backstory to that. But I'm like, go here, watch these guys. Like all the players are so good at the jam. I'm just like, every time I go, I'm like, okay, what did they just do? Okay, I gotta remember that. It's like, it's just such a great environment to be exposed to so much, because every 3 songs there's a different player up there, to be exposed to so many different musical ideas that helps open your mind creatively. Like to think, okay, what do they do? How do they do that? Wait, I'm constantly asking Noah. I'm like, how did you just come up with that? I don't even understand. Or Dukes, like, okay, the sliding change you just did, that didn't even make sense to me. So what did you, so as a person, as a musician, if you're trying to get in and like, okay, I need more. I just need more from music. A jam is like, you can go see shows, but generally it's very structured to 3 bands, 1 band, whatever. Like a jam, you're just going to be, it's almost going to be too much, right? Until you get in and you get used to going, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be exposed to 100 ideas I've never thought of before tonight.
And yeah, I feel like even the courage that it takes to show up, like as a new artist, you're kind of just like, I don't know, where I fit and where my abilities are at. And it could be like an extremely scary, terrifying,
Absolutely.
yeah, like you're like gonna, leap off a cliff. And I just think that like, if you're going in with the mentality of like, okay, I just got to keep showing up, and I am being so courageous. I always believe that really courageous acts create the next open door.
Yeah.
So it's like having to kind of reframe of, okay, I'm showing up to this, and I hope I make a connection. I hope I have a good time. I hope another door opens. I hope I learn something.
Yeah.
And you always do. Like, I'll come to a jam exhausted and leave regenerated. And it's
Yeah.
just like, how could it be that I spent so much energy there, but I'm regenerated from so many different
Amen to that.
cups
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
filled by doing it? And for yourself, just like, oh, I did that thing. Like,
Yeah.
that was a scary thing to do, and I
Did
I
it.
showed up for myself to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all different dimensions of like growth by doing it.
That's true. I mean, there is a
Absolutely,
fear,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
almost feel like the fear is super productive,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like
It
I get on
pushes
stage.
you.
Even I've been doing this for what, two years maybe now. And it's like I'll get on stage and I'm like, okay, I know I can do anything, but I don't know these cats. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's
Makes you really
it's
present,
intimidating.
too.
I mean, even here when I started showing up, and I've gone to like many different jams in different cities, and there's also insecurities that can it's crazy how therapeutic music is, right? Music is therapy, movement is therapy, all of this. Like I also dance and do a lot of things, and like my entire life is art. I don't do anything else outside of art,
It's amazing.
and music is healing. Like we have sound healings because music is frequencies and our bodies are made up of frequencies and resonates, right? And so it's like, that's why you feel rejuvenated, because you're creating these frequencies, and especially being a singer, our bodies being our instruments, like there's a whole thing about like vocal activation and like healing with just the voice, right? And so that's why. But there's also been times where I've been to jams and there's actually a time I left because I was just like, I am having a terrible time. And I like every song, I was like, this is terrible.
It happens.
And it happens. And then I come back the next week and it's great,
Right.
But anyways, we're coming up to our end of the episode. And I wanted to just kind of ask the question of where can we find Johnny Sapphire and where can we see you next?
Sure. I forget when our next show. So generally, I don't like to play a lot of shows. Like I always say, I don't like to play a lot of shows in December and January for various reasons. But then it's like then a schedule gets booked anyway. So I forget when our next show is.
I feel like you said there's a February one.
There's the end of February, I think at
Yeah.
710 Club maybe,
think
or maybe it's
so.
early March, in PB, and then I have work to do to schedule shows after that. But like generally, I was like, it's supposed to be a 6 times a year in San Diego thing, and then I'm going to be working on festivals.
Nice.
But again, it was getting product out there. We'll call it product.
So we're
that's what it is.
so we're pretty lucky to see you guys on Thursday.
Well,
Ye-
yeah.
yeah.
for sure.
That was kind of the
early
intention.
year.
It's like I don't want to oversaturate. Don't want to like ask my friends to keep on coming to shows. It's like just slowly, and part of it is just slow momentum. But getting enough of a catalog out there, right? That was the other thing. Is like I want people to have a place to go and listen to music, and we didn't really have that. I had the collab album, but that wasn't necessarily going to be with the Sea Monks, but that wasn't necessarily going to be the Johnny Sapphire stuff. So it's like get the first album out. That was in May this year. Most of the songs we play, like the songs we'll be playing, are on the next album, which
Nice.
is more. It's called City. It's like an homage to kind of urban life and San Diego, and so the music's on all streaming on all channels. There were 3 singles released this fall, and again, I'm hoping to get the album out by March or sometime between March and May, probably. For the next album, and then already working on another collab with the Sea Monks. Again, that's kind of a separate vehicle, but that's so you can hear the music online, and then the first show we have for this year will be 7:10. I think it's in early March.
Nice.
And then, yeah, so it is kind of an exclusive thing, and that was the intention. We're going to be targeting
Cool.
Lulu's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah, and then where can we find you, Karina, and all of your?
And when's your next show?
Yeah.
I'm performing, let's see, February is pretty busy right now with several people over, like Pizza Cassette is going to be one of them. That's with Kyle Merrill. And
That's cool.
Porcelain, I'm playing at Mustache Bash. That's in March.
That's fun.
I'm very excited for that. And yeah, just every Wednesday at the Harp, you'll see me there. Come say hi, come play. I will make you play. And
Especially if you play piano.
yeah, absolutely, and whatever. So I'm everywhere. There's always something new happening.
She pulls up the horn players too.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
yeah.
If you want to
Yeah.
play brass with me, I'm down. So
Yeah.
And the
There's-
first week of the month is just mad with amazing jams going on. There's the Monday Mission Bay Jam from I think 7 to 9. Black Cat's the first Wednesday.
Yeah.
Funky Resurrection is the first Wednesday at Lulu's. Thursday Cordova, first Thursday of the month. So yeah, the first week of the month, like if you're new to the music world, just you have so many opportunities to jump in, and I think everyone's in a really good mood because they're like, it's a new year, I'm trying to be connected. So yeah,
That's a
Come
good
Nice.
call.
yeah.
That's it. There's a lot.
Yeah,
Like if,
I need
if
you
people were
to-
to just commit to the first week, you get a lot of.
Exactly.
Get a lot done.
Got a
You're
lot
ready
of
to
reps
start
in.
new every month. Like, you
Yeah.
just jump in again.
You should definitely send all of those to me.
Yes.
I only know of like the Fam Jam and the Harp,
Oh, yeah.
and now
we got you.
Polyjamorous on Thursdays.
There's
That's
so
my
many.
forte is like putting them all on my calendar.
Normally I do, but like San Diego, I've just had no need because I'm like the Harp's great.
Valid.
And then it's funny that I'm now changing it to Thursdays just because of school and it works. And I was like, oh, I guess the jams get to stay alive for me. And then once I'm done with school, I'll be having a Wednesday and a Thursday.
Yeah.
Just my goal for everyone is just more music
Right.
Totally.
to
That's
play
a
in
good
San
goal.
Diego.
More to go to.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Cool. Well, thanks for having us. That's
Yeah.
amazing. We're really happy to support the start of the
yeah.
jam. What's the title of the official title of the jam at this
It's
point?
Polyjamorous San Diego. Because
Okay.
if you look up Polyjamorous, you'll find the Vegas one.
Okay.
So if you're
Excellent.
on
Polyjamorous,
Instagram,
yeah, so we're
Polyjamorous SD.
Very happy to be supporting
Yeah.
Super.
musical experience.
Yeah,
Yeah. Is that the
and
template?
at the template.
Shout
yeah.
out. Cool. Template would
Yep.
be
We
awesome.
love
Great
template.
venue. One
Yeah.
of my favorite
It's
spaces
also going to
hang
be
in.
sober because I don't like alcohol.
Wonderful.
And they have tea and cacao
Yes.
and
Cool.
coffee and, you know.
The venue itself is a vibe that you
Yeah.
can get high on.
So, absolutely.
You don't
Yeah,
need
that's
any
enough.
substances. You just look up at the ceiling
Yeah, I
and you're
just-
like,
I-
Yeah, exactly. And also you can get high off of the music. Come on, guys.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what we were just talking about.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
right, cool.
I think
Thank you.
we're going to wrap this
Aw.
up. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Johnny Sapphire.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Cool.
Yay. I had to move this a couple times. My wrist is like not.